March 1st, 2026. According to Iranian state media, ballistic missiles were launched at a U.S. aircraft carrier, namely the USS Abraham Lincoln, striking the ship in retaliation for earlier strikes. Infrared sensors aboard early warning satellites pick up sudden heat plumes. 4 intense blazes of light against the ink-black sky, rising like angry fingers into the upper atmosphere. Within the Combat Information Center, the air is thick with urgency. Heads swivel between consoles, voices clipped and measured. Something is coming. In Iran, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claims success. State outlets broadcast that 4 missiles launched at the Lincoln found their mark. Their message is clear: strike back. But out here over the open water, there is only tension and anticipation. No flash of impact, just the silent question hanging over every sailor's head. Did they really come this close? Minutes stretch like hours, and in those minutes, everything changes. The first alert does not come from a ship, it comes from space. Within seconds of the launches, American early warning satellites detect the infrared signatures climbing fast through the atmosphere. 4 distinct heat plumes, high-energy ballistic missile. Ground-based radar systems begin refining the trajectory. Numbers start filling in. Speed, arc, estimated descent path. Every second adds clarity or confusion. Out at sea, the USS Abraham Lincoln receives the alert. No panic, no shouting, just procedure. The carrier strike group shifts immediately into a defensive posture. Escorts tighten formation. Airspace control becomes strict. Every sensor is pointed outward. Inside the ship's Combat Information Center, voices are calm but fast. Incoming objects tracked, multiple tracks confirmed, projecting possible impact zones. If the trajectory intersects the strike group, defensive systems activate automatically. The carrier is also not alone. As you know, it sails with layered protection: destroyers, cruisers, airborne surveillance, electronic countermeasures. This is not an unguarded ship drifting in open water. This is a moving fortress. And at the center of this storm is one ship, the USS Abraham Lincoln, a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier over 300 meters long, powered by 2 nuclear reactors. It's a floating city of nearly 5,000 sailors and aviators. From a distance, it looks almost unreal. A slab of steel rising out of the sea, aircraft lined across its deck like pieces on a chessboard. But this isn't just a runway at sea, it's a strategic symbol. Striking a U.S. aircraft carrier would represent one of the most serious escalations in modern naval warfare. These ships project power across entire regions. They carry strike aircraft, surveillance planes, helicopters, an entire air force that moves with the ocean. But what makes a carrier like this even more formidable is not just its size, it's the protection around it. A carrier strike group is built in layers: multiple ships, advanced radar coverage, air patrols overhead, defensive systems designed to detect, track, and intercept threats long before they get close. It is not a single target, it is a shielded formation. And that matters tonight. Because if Iran's claim is true, if ballistic missiles really struck this ship, it would mean those layers were breached. And that would send shockwaves far beyond the Arabian Sea. In the Combat Information Center aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, screens glow blue and green. Digital symbols move across the display fast. Multiple inbound tracks confirmed, comes the call. The objects are descending now. Velocity, extreme. Altitude, dropping. Silence tightens the room. Escorts report ready status. Air defense crews stand by. Defensive systems are fully activated. Layered, redundant, designed for moments exactly like this. No one announces an intercept. No one confirms a lock. Because at this stage, certainty doesn't even exist. One object appears to arc slightly off the initial line. Another track fades briefly, then reappears as radar refines the return. Then comes another update. Recalculating impact point. The box shifts again. Away. Further away. Not zero risk, but no longer centered on the carrier. This is the razor's edge of modern warfare. Seconds of incomplete data, decisions made before full confirmation. Every calculation carries weight. And while the U.S. systems are still tracking, in Iran, a very different message is already being prepared. 2:27 a.m. Before radar operators at sea have even finished refining their final trajectory updates, Iranian state media pushes out a headline. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announces that 4 ballistic missiles have successfully struck the U.S. aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln. The message spreads instantly. Victory statements, bold graphics. According to the IRGC, the strike was direct and deliberate. Retaliation delivered. Within minutes, social media explodes. Clips begin circulating online. Grainy night footage, explosions at sea, dramatic captions claiming carrier hit. But here's the problem. There is no independent confirmation, no satellite imagery showing damage, no distress call, no emergency signals from the strike group, just a claim, loud and confident. Back aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, operations continue. Aircraft remain secured, radar keeps scanning, escorts maintain position. There's no visible fire on the horizon, no shockwave rolling across the deck. Yet across the internet, the narrative is already forming. A U.S. aircraft carrier has been hit. Hours later, the response comes from Washington's side of the equation. U.S. Central Command releases a clear statement. The USS Abraham Lincoln was not hit. The missiles, according to the U.S., did not even come close. Flight operations continued. The carrier remains fully operational. No damage, no casualties, no impact. The denial is direct and unmistakable. Officials describe the Iranian announcement as false. They say that tracking data shows the ballistic missiles landed far from the carrier strike group. No defensive emergency, no breach of layered protection. On deck, routine continues. Jets are positioned, crew members move across the flight line. The rhythm of naval operations does not suggest a ship that survived a direct ballistic strike. And that contrast becomes the real headline. Iran says it struck one of the most powerful warships on Earth. The United States says the missiles didn't even come close. Two versions of reality, both delivered with confidence. Now the world is left with a gap between those statements. And in modern warfare, sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't the missile itself, it's the narrative. This is where modern conflict changes shape. The physical event lasts minutes, the information battle lasts days. A U.S. aircraft carrier is more than steel and aircraft. It's a symbol of power projection. Saying you hit one, even if you didn't, sends a message to domestic audiences and regional rivals. It suggests vulnerability. It suggests reach. It suggests defiance. But here's the other side of that coin. If the claim is exaggerated or false, it risks credibility. And so far, there is no visible proof of a strike on the USS Abraham Lincoln. That doesn't stop the noise, though. Because in today's battle space, perception moves faster than confirmation. Here's why that matters. If a ballistic missile had truly struck a U.S. aircraft carrier, it would represent one of the most serious escalations in decades. A carrier is not just a ship. It is sovereign U.S. territory at sea. Hitting one would force decisions on the highest level. retaliation, counter-retaliation, rapid escalation. But even without a confirmed strike, the claim alone raises tension. Because once a nation publicly declares it hit a carrier, pressure builds. Political leaders are expected to respond. Markets react, allies reassess, military forces adjust posture. Words can move fleets. And that right there is the danger here. This was not just about 4 missile tracks in the sky. It was about how close 2 adversaries came to a line neither side may truly want to cross. So here's the final question for you. Do you think this was a warning shot in the information war, or a rehearsal for something bigger? Thanks for watching. Let's keep sharing these stories from the sea and create more respect for the men and women who live and serve aboard ships around the world. If you value real stories like this, like this video and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one.